Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and get started on Unit 3. This one is going to be about Facebook Lives and the power of
Ooh,
them.
Facebook Live.
I know, right?
Scary.
It's nerve-wracking.
Very scary. It's very scary. Push live, no. Don't push live, no. So guys, we're excited to give this to you. And to kick this unit off, we brought Gary Stern on. He's an elite distributor out of Florida and is one of the early adopters to the trend of what's happening in social media in our team and in our company. And so we thought if we're going to do a unit on Facebook Live, we've got to bring Gary on. He has become a student, dove in, and is getting results. We were just talking before we recorded this unit about an enrollment he got last night from Australia. I mean, pretty cool to wake up to an enrollment. So Gary, thanks for jumping on. Share with us why Facebook Live, like the psychology, and give us a story of some success.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thanks for having me on and thanks for doing this training. This is what it's all about, guys. And I know that feeling that you're talking about when you're about to push the button. I mean, for those of you that think, wow, that guy seems to be a master at this, it wasn't like that. The very first one I ever went to do, I think it took 10 minutes just to push the button. I remember there was a TV show once, they're like, push the button. I was struggling on that. So for me, though, it came down to this. I started to realize that people can get to know you a whole lot better through video than they can through just words on a page and or even putting a picture with those words. You know, the picture's better than just typing something. But what's better than this? To actually almost have a conversation with people. And that's what's beautiful about Facebook Live. People really get to know who you are, what you're all about. They get to see your personality coming through the camera. You can interact. When I say there's some interaction there, you're asking them as they're going along, hey, if this resonates with you, throw up some love or give me some thumbs up or let me know where you're watching this from today. And what I started to find was people were watching these Facebook Lives from all over the world at every time of day. I mean, sometimes they were watching, like you said, in Australia, and it was the next morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. Other times they were watching in Norway at 11 o'clock at night or in France at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, yet I'm doing it here in the morning in the US. So it started making me realize there's some power in this. There's 4 billion eyeballs across the planet on Facebook, and I was able to capture some of their attention through using this tool. A couple of tips of what has led to the success. I mean, it's simple. Use good lighting, show up. I mean, people don't want to see you like this. They don't want to know the horrible day you're having. It's okay to talk about the struggles. I mean, I've told people how nervous I was doing these. But show up, right? Know what you're going to say ahead of time and be prepared. And then when you do it, ask for interaction as it's going along. And that interaction is crucial because then it gets served up to more people. So, you know, we were talking about the result, let's say, that we've had. I'll just tell you this. It's led to probably in the last 3 months, I've been doing it now solid for 3 months. It's probably led to somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 new Facebook friends. Of those 300, 200 of them came to me. 100 I went to them, meaning 100 of them were people that were commenting and liking my stuff. And so I went to them and struck up a conversation. The other 200 came to me and said, what are you doing? What do you do for a living? How do you know all this stuff? How can I learn more about health and wellness? How can I learn more about investing? How can I learn more about travel or having more time with my family? So one of those is a guy that he and I think very like-mindedly, we've come to find out when it comes to investing. He used to actually do the financial news. And so we kind of got off this buddy thing going, and I started following some of the things that he was doing on Facebook Live. He starts following me on things that we're doing on Facebook Live. Turns out that he's an industry leader in the field of network marketing. However, his company doesn't have a product like we do in LifeVantage with Protandim. So he reached out to me and said, tell me more. I want to get to know more about this company and these products. And that led to him last night, like you said, Brandon, at 12:33 a.m. I was sound asleep. I'm out for 2 hours at that point. I went to bed early last night. And at 12:33 in the morning, he enrolled as a customer in our business last night. Woke up to that this morning. The one other story I want to give you, because it works both ways. There's people that are interested in what we have from a product standpoint, But also the other one is this, and I'm going to read it because I want it to say exactly, I want to use the exact words. This is a guy that saw me on Facebook Live, and he said, "Hey, Gary, you're the type of guy that I want to surround myself with. Your energy and vitality is through the roof. It would be great if I could pick your brain sometimes and learn more about what you do. Hope you had a nice holiday. Cheers, Ryan." You know this guy, Brandon. You ended up on a 3-way Facebook Messenger conversation with him. He found me through Facebook. That's how we started our friendship off. Was he said, "You're the kind of guy I want to get to know better and want to get to know what it is that you do, because I can see myself doing that same thing one day." So it's powerful. If you're nervous to do it, the only way to do a Facebook Live is to push the button. Just do it. Just do it, right? Like Nike says, just do it.
Yeah, awesome, Gary. Thanks for being on here, and thanks for that background information and the results, right? The absolute results that are happening. We are in love with your leadership and what you're doing, and keep on keeping on, man. So let's jump into this PowerPoint that we've created for you guys today to kind of outline for you now the how-tos and the whys and how to do this. So bear with me as we share screen. And we're going to jump into this PowerPoint with all of you this morning. So again, this is Unit 3, using Facebook Live. As you know, we're breaking these up in some units. And why should you do this? We've touched on this a little bit, but I want to elaborate a little bit on this for you. Number one, Facebook loves live video. They don't own YouTube. Google owns YouTube. And Facebook, as you guys know, is one of the richest companies in the world now, and they compete for your attention. Just like television stations compete for your attention, so does Facebook. And nothing is grabbing people's attention like video. And so that's the number one reason why you want to do video. We are marketers, guys. Okay, we are marketing. We are network marketers, all right? And as someone that's in the marketing business, you have to be aware of where people's attention is. Okay, they are not looking at billboards anymore. Okay, I don't even know why there's billboards on the highway anymore. No one's looking at billboards. They're all looking at their cell phones. And the average person opens their Facebook account over 80 times a day. And they start scrolling until they see video, especially if it's a friend of theirs, all right? Here's the other thing a lot of people don't know. When you post something on Facebook, not a live video, a post, only about 10% of your friends see it. So if you've got 5,000 friends, you're thinking all 5,000 people are seeing the post? No, about 500 people see it because Facebook controls what your friends see. Now, they will let people see your post who you are actively having conversations with and liking and commenting on, but that's it, right? But a video, Facebook will let about 30% or more see that. And so just do your first Facebook Live and watch how many views you get compared to what your actual friend list is. And it's more than 10%. So Facebook absolutely loves video, and they love you staying in Facebook, right? And people will watch your Facebook Lives that you never thought to call, okay? I just experienced this last week. A guy I knew 20 years ago has been watching what we were doing and reached out to me and said, "Hey, I know you're in network marketing," he gave me kind of this rundown, and then he opened the door completely for me off of a Facebook Live. I got so many of those stories. I shot a live video in my backyard as a tropical storm was coming in, and I did it to document the tropical storm. But this person saw my backyard and messaged me and goes, "How in the world do you live there?" Like, because we live on the water, right? He wanted to know. And that would have never happened on a post. So people are watching your lives that you could have never imagined them watching and will reach out to you. So that's some of the reasons why you want to do a Facebook Live. It's worthy of it. So here's some ideas. Lynette, share some ideas with them on what they should be doing on their lives.
Well, the power in a live is it's giving you the ability to connect with your audience, to connect with your contacts. So use the same content of your post, but tell it in a story. Bring it to life. You know, when you're talking to the camera, talk to your friend. Don't be robotic. Look at the camera. I don't know if we've even kind of pointed that out. A lot of times your tendency is to look at the screen.
Yeah, it is kind of hard at first. Like which little dot on the phone is the camera and which is the microphone and which is the speaker. So,
well, and sometimes you just want to look at yourself to make sure you don't have like a hair over here, which I could right now because I'm looking at the camera. I wouldn't know. But the point is, by looking at the camera, you're engaging with your audience. You're talking to them, right? So just connect with them. Share your story. Just make it very, very personable. Keep a list in your phone of topics that you want to do Facebook Lives on. I have in my notes section of my phone, Facebook ideas, because you know what? There's days where you're just like, I got nothing. Like, what do I talk about today? What do I post
especially
today?
alive, because that added level of anxiety about what you're going to say.
Right. So, go ahead and make some notes so that you can reference, so that when you do have a time where you've got nothing that you can think of, you've got a point of reference. That next one, rip off and duplicate, R&D. I've heard that in this profession forever. I was like, what's R&D? Rip off and duplicate. You guys, there's a ton of amazing posts and videos out there. Snag it, make it your own, capture the idea of what somebody has used in a live and make it your own. It has to resonate with you. If you're not passionate in talking about it, don't waste your time. Nobody's going to want to hear about it. But if you are, then do it. And just, if you see something in a book, if you read something in a book that resonates with you, develop some content off of there. And, really, as you become more aware and are doing more live videos, your mind will pick up on things of, oh, I should use that. And again, put it in your notes for point of reference.
Nothing is authentic anymore. Like everything that needs to be said has already been said.
It's all been said.
Somebody said it 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 100 years ago, and in some cases, thousands of years ago, things were said that people need to still do. And so don't feel bad about reading something and then duplicating that. Now, the one thing I will tell you is if I see something that's a really good image, I will give that person props, like thanks for the pic or something. But we're talking about live video at this point.
And making it your own. So it's not like you're scripting exactly what someone has said. You're taking the idea and making it your own. The next one talks about if you go back 10, 15, 20 years, what would you tell yourself? That's a great idea of what you could do a live video on, because you've got a lot of knowledge over the years. You've learned a whole lot in that time frame, and there's a lot that you can pull from just with that one idea. Find ideas in the content, or find ideas of content in the answers to questions. So for example, what's the hardest thing about being a mom? What's the most challenging thing about being a parent? What's the best thing about owning your own business? There's, we listed just a couple examples, but there's a ton.
Yeah, if you own a business, then put out to the Facebook Live world the great things of owning a business. And then also put out to the Facebook world the challenges of owning a business. But make a list. Like, what's the 5 best things? What's the 5 worst things? What's the 5 things you need to avoid if you're a business owner?
Well, and be aware of things going on around you. As April 15th approaches, what's on everybody's mind? Taxes. Why not do a Facebook Live on how to save on your taxes and give them some valuable points? And at the end say, hey, one of the best things I found is running your own business. And maybe you can have some sort of a call to action with that. So be aware of things going on and constantly coming up with ideas.
Yeah, I mean, it's endless, guys. The ideas are endless. Like we had Gary Stern on. He's a pharmaceutical rep. As Lynette's talking, Gary, as a former pharmaceutical rep, that's a mouthful of words, right? He could do Facebook Lives on some of the things maybe you should be asking your doctor when you go in, right? Like, because Gary has a knowledge of certain drugs that I don't have. And so all of you, no matter what you've done or are doing, have talent and ideas that people need and you need to put out there. So don't say like, what do I know? Or don't beat yourself up. There are things that you know that I don't know, and that needs to be shared with the world.
And the last point, talk about your passions, your experience, your talents, lessons, struggles. You guys, it's on and on and on. It's really just a matter of knowing who you are, knowing what value you can bring. And like Brandon said, it really does not matter what your employment history is, what your age is. You've got something of value to bring. If you're a student, I'm sure there's study tips you could share. I mean, it's endless, really. So,
and you probably should go live once to twice a week is kind of my formula that I'm using right now. If you want to know how often to go live, I'd say once to twice. And for me, going live is easier to do that hard sale that we talked about in Unit 1. It's easier for me to do the hard sale and on a live video.
Right.
It's just, and I think it's more effective that way as well. So we ready to go next slide?
Yep.
So how do I do it? Like, how do I physically do it? All right. So we're going to go high tech again here. We're going to share. We're going to go on to my Facebook account. So bear with me. We're going to have to come out of this PowerPoint and stop that share. And then we're going to go into another share on my iPhone. I know, lots of buttons. Bear with me here.
You know, the great thing is if you're not real familiar with Facebook or doing these things, it's so awesome that you can actually have it on the screen and see the buttons that you push. Takes the guesswork out.
All right, so here's my Facebook account, and there's a cute post that Lynette put up of her little girl. I'm a little jealous. And so as you see, Lynette is circling where the camera is, the red camera that says live.
So as soon as you open Facebook, this is the page that appeared, right? So immediately, what's on your mind?
So we hit that, we push the button, and here it comes, right? Here we are. All right, there's a live.
Yeah.
Ooh, my pretty wife. And you want to turn the camera sideways.
But not yet, right?
You can, no, it'll go, and you can type it sideways, right?
All right.
So we can go in here in the description and just put test, right? And then show them how you do this.
That's what I was so excited to share. Okay, everybody is a nervous wreck to do their very first live. Check this out, you guys, right here, this button. When Brandon pushes this button.
All right, I've done it. I don't know why we're not, let's try to.
No. Oh, I see
it.
It wasn't up there.
Okay.
Okay, there it is. Check this out. You can hit only me. That means you can do a live for yourself. So if you're nervous, Nelly, about doing a live, do it for yourself, and then you can post it after it's recorded. But if you hated it, you don't have to post it.
I will tell you guys, that's only for the first few.
That's
okay?
it.
Because Facebook wants live video. They don't want just video.
Yeah.
So your engagement will be terrible if you're not actually live. But if you're super nervous about it, this is a cool way, right?
For the first time.
Most of the time you want public pushed. All right. So let's come out of this. Here we are again. And of course, you've got some buttons up here where you can change the lighting. It can get brighter or darker. Yep. And so we just wanted to show you exactly what you do, but then you turn the camera sideways. Let me give you a little pro tip here, guys. All right. When that goes sideways, you want to make sure that this white box, right, where it says test, is sideways as well. If it's not sideways, if it's the other direction, your Facebook Live will be sideways to the world. Just saying.
I've done that before.
Just saying, okay? Make sure that white box goes sideways, all right? All right, so let's come out of this share. Stop this screen share, I think, and we'll go back to our PowerPoint. Let's go back to our desktop and back into our PowerPoint. So, all right, we covered a few of these already. Lighting and sound. This is one that's pretty important. If the lighting's not good enough, it'll be grainy, all right? Now, you can do these live from a laptop or your cell phone. Lynette and I tend to shoot from our cell phone. And natural light's gonna be best, so you'll get used to, after you're doing a few lives, what they look like. You may wanna invest in some artificial lighting. You can get it from anywhere from $50 to $100. You can get more expensive if you want, but make sure your lighting's good. You don't want dark circles around your eyes. You don't want big shadows. And your sound is important too. If it's too far away, people just think of yourself again as a TV station.
Yeah.
If the sound's bad or the lighting's bad, you're going to another channel. Okay. So we don't want to distract. And speaking of distractions, it's okay to have a little bit going on in the background. Like if you're in a busy, area downtown having lunch, you decide to go live, or maybe you're on a beach and you want to go live. That's fine. But if you've got a lot of stuff happening right behind or people being silly, no one's listening to you.
Yeah, and if there's too much background noise, quite honestly, it gets annoying, right? So you just turn it. It's kind of like static.
Yeah, right now there's a little hanger on our door that says "Shh, quiet, recording," because we've got kids in the house.
Right.
Little tips, pro tips there. All right. So how do you maximize your audience?
Well, one thing you do is you provide value even when they're not buying your product. So in other words, if you're going to share or do a live on health tips and you share, eat clean, drink water, take Protandim, right? So maybe you want to throw something in there, but if they don't want your product, they still gain value in what you've said. So ensure that you're giving value across the board. You want to have a catchy title because otherwise they're not going to want to see what it's about. So give them something to kind of lure them to press the play button. Start by telling them who you are right out of the gates. That's one thing I didn't quite understand. I'm like, they're watching my live video. They know who I am. But here's the thing. What if they share it?
I mean, you hope they share it.
Right.
And so that's the intention, is that a lot of people get this share.
Right. So start with an introduction. Hey, it's Lynette Cunningham, and then just roll with it. Have a main point with 2 to 3 supporting points. So I like to start a Facebook Live by saying, hello, Lynette, and then tell them what I'm going to talk about. Because I can tell you there's multiple times I've gone on to somebody's live and they're dilly-dallying. They don't start talking right away because they're waiting for people to come on. They're not telling me what they're going to talk about. I'm like, on to the next one.
While you're talking about that, guys, don't get on there and wait for an audience to appear. Because I know we're going to talk about this a couple times about the replay. Right. But as she said, don't dilly-dally. Get in there. Tell them who you are. Tell them what they're going to hear. And then get into your live.
Right. And if you're giving them some, maybe you even say, listen, I'm going to be sharing 3 points on whatever. I'm going to be sharing 6 points on whatever, because then they'll stick around. I wonder what point's next. And they'll stick around because you've already outlined for them what you're going to be covering. And then this is another little tip to keep in mind. Before you go live, I know you're going to be dealing with nerves and all those things, but take a few minutes and go on and make some comments and likes on people's posts, because what'll happen is you in turn will get more engagement when you go live. You give love, you get love, right?
We've never talked about this in the other units, but the reality is, guys, there's been studies done on social media. And when people get likes on their pages or they get comments, the brain actually releases dopamine. And dopamine is a chemical that is so powerful. It's the terminology, but it's a chemical that makes you feel good. It's a feel-good chemical. Some dopamine's released when you eat foods that you love. And so it's powerful. So if you go on to their page and you're feeding them a little dopamine, that feels good. And guess what they're going to do? I promise you they're going to be on your page a few minutes later. It's unbelievable. There's a science to it, and it works.
We're like puppies. Like me, like me, like me.
It's pretty pathetic. But
it is.
It's the way it is.
We all love being loved. That's what it boils down to, right? So 10 to 20 minutes after you go live, start some conversations with people. You guys don't look at comments as an ending, right? When somebody says something, try to ask a question so that they'll reply again, because the reality is that actually boosts the amount of people that will see your video. It also will strengthen your relationship with that person in particular. So try to have a little conversation there and engagement instead of just a thank you or, whatever. I'm thinking about something this morning, so I was going to comment on that, but that would not make sense at all. But the idea, try to ask a question so that they'll comment again.
Yeah. So 10 minutes before, engaging conversations, 10 minutes after, engaging conversations, and your audience will go through the roof, the amount of people that are watching your stuff. So we talked about going for the replay. There's a few things you can do to maximize your audience. So one is get right to it, as we've said. And, you know, getting people engaged is really important. You'll see some people saying, hey, if you're new to us, type in new in the comments. I will do that a lot. If you like this information, tag some of your friends in it. If you want to be a positive influence on the world, share this information out. I do all of those things. I'll tell you this, though. I do my best to try to be very authentic about the reasons behind why I'm asking for people to comment or tagging or sharing. I think you can go overboard
Sure.
with these emojis and drop a 1 and drop a 2 and drop a like I get on Facebook Lives, and if they do that for the first 45 seconds, I'm out.
Right.
I'm gone. I'm not dropping any more emojis, and I'm an adult. Okay. And so tell me what I'm here to see. But if you're authentic about it, and I was pretty bad at first about this.
Everybody is.
Right.
Everybody, there's a learning curve involved. And the reality is, if you're not willing to go through the learning curve, you're not going to grow. So just know that you are going to have some in the beginning who, you know, you're embarrassed of. It's okay. It'll get better.
Yeah, it will. And what will make it easier for you to get going on these lives is when you start getting these comments and people coming to you, this attraction marketing.
Right.
Instead of you having to go out and find the leads and supply they're coming to you with questions. That alone will inspire you to get serious about your Facebook Lives. It has me. Let's face it. It's one more thing on my plate that I feel like I need to do every week, these Facebook Lives, which requires some intentionality, right? And so do I want to do them? No. But do I want to grow my network marketing business? Absolutely. And so I will do lives because I know I need to be doing lives. And as Lynette said, you know, we're trying to create conversations. When you're posting on Facebook or doing Facebook Lives, that's like step 1. Step 2 is actually having a conversation on Messenger. We're going to be talking more about that in some of our other units. So thank you guys for joining us on this unit here. Let's stop the share and come back out to this. We are super excited about what's going on Facebook and doing our best to keep up with what's going to get you the best engagement. And when it comes to post and engagement and attraction marketing, Facebook Live is just where it's at.
It's hot.
I don't see that changing anytime soon. So I hope this information serves you well. That is a wrap on Unit 3.
Yeah.
We got Unit 4 coming up next. Bye, guys.
Bye.